What if I told you that the very thing you're running from, the discomfort, the struggle, the frustration, is the key to the life you've been craving? You keep pushing it away, pretending it's not there, but deep down, you know it burns inside of you. You've been taught to avoid pain, to stay comfortable, but have you ever stopped to question why? Why does the thought of stepping outside your comfort zone tear you apart? The Stoics understood this. True freedom, true strength, lies not in avoiding discomfort, but in facing it head-on, in choosing growth over comfort, and in accepting that the greatest challenge you'll ever face is not the world around you, but the one inside of you. So let me ask you, are you ready to stop running? Are you ready to face the discomfort and discover the freedom that lies beyond it? If you're ready to break free from the lies that have held you back, then please subscribe to challenge yourself, to grow, and to live a life of true meaning. Lesson 1. The power of your first thought. The first thought you have when you wake up can shape your entire day. It's like setting the tone for everything that follows. Imagine waking up, your eyes just opening, and your mind starts racing. Maybe it's the stress of the day ahead, the emails piling up, or that nagging feeling that there's too much to do. It's easy for the mind to jump right into that spiral of worry and anxiety. But here's the thing. What if you could change that? What if the very first thought you had in the morning was one of gratitude, peace, or even just a quiet acknowledgement that you are alive and well? Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." This one simple thought can completely shift your perspective. Instead of being consumed by stress, start your day by appreciating that you woke up. That's already a victory. Think about it. How often do we wake up, reach for our phone, and let the flood of notifications and information set the pace for our day? We allow external things to determine how we feel from the moment we open our eyes. But what if we reclaimed that power? What if we took a moment, just a brief one, to breathe, to reflect, and to remind ourselves that the very fact we are awake is a blessing? The first thought you have sets the tone for your mood, your energy, and how you approach the rest of your day. Imagine waking up, and instead of diving straight into the stresses of life, you choose to pause. Take a deep breath. Feel the weight of the sheets on your body, the warmth of the sunlight creeping through the window, and appreciate the quiet moment of simply being. You don't need to solve the world's problems in that moment. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to appreciate that you are here, alive, and capable of facing whatever the day throws at you. This isn't just some fluffy piece of advice. The way we begin our mornings has a profound impact on how we experience the day. If we begin the day in stress or anxiety, we are more likely to carry that energy throughout the day, letting it affect how we interact with others and how we handle challenges. But when we start with gratitude, we create a solid foundation of calm and positivity. It's like setting a filter for the rest of your day, a filter that allows you to see things with a clearer, more peaceful mindset. You start to notice the good things that happen, the small victories, the beautiful moments, instead of getting caught up in the chaos. We all know that life can feel overwhelming sometimes, and we can't always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. And it all starts with that first thought. That moment when your eyes first open is your opportunity to decide how you want to approach the day. You can choose to let stress take over, or you can choose to embrace the day with a mindset of gratitude and possibility. It's not always easy, and it might take practice, but every time you choose to focus on gratitude instead of stress, you're rewiring your brain for positivity. Think about how often we let our worries dictate how we feel. We wake up already feeling like we're behind, like we have too much to do, like we're never going to catch up. But what if we chose, just for a moment, to not let those thoughts control us? What if we simply paused, took a breath, and reminded ourselves that we're doing okay, that just being here is enough? That one thought can make all the difference. It can change the trajectory of your day, your mindset, and your energy. It's the kind of shift that, over time, can completely change how you navigate life. It's easy to get caught up in the pressure of the day, to feel like we need to accomplish everything right away, or that we need to be productive from the second we wake up. But in reality, giving yourself permission to just exist for a moment is one of the most powerful things you can do for your mental health. You don't have to be in a rush. You don't have to have it all figured out. What you need is to appreciate where you are right now, to give yourself a moment of peace before the demands of the world come rushing in. There's also something deeply grounding about beginning your day with gratitude. It reminds you that you are enough, exactly as you are. It's easy to get caught in the trap of constantly striving, of thinking that we need to do more, be more, or accomplish more. But gratitude shifts that mindset. It reminds us that, in this moment, we are whole, we are enough. And that's where self-love begins. It begins with the simple acknowledgement that you are alive, that you have today to make a difference, and that you are worthy of peace, joy, and fulfillment. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges. Life will still have its ups and downs. But when you begin with gratitude, you set yourself up to face those challenges with a calmer, more resilient mindset. You are less likely to be overwhelmed by the obstacles that come your way because you've already trained your mind to focus on what you have, not what you lack. Gratitude allows you to see the opportunities in challenges, to recognize the lessons in difficult moments, and to keep moving forward with a sense of purpose. As you continue to practice this, you'll notice a subtle shift in your overall well-being. Your mornings will feel more peaceful, your energy will feel lighter, and you'll start to approach the day with a greater sense of calm and confidence. The more you focus on gratitude, the easier it becomes to find it in every aspect of your life. You begin to notice the small blessings that were always there, but that you never took the time to appreciate before. And when you do that, you unlock a whole new way of experiencing the world. The first thought you have when you wake up might seem insignificant, but it's one of the most powerful moments of your day. Choose to make it a thought of gratitude and watch how it changes your perspective, your energy, and your life. Remember, you woke up, that's a victory, and no matter what comes next, you're capable of handling it with grace, strength, and the mindset of someone who knows that they are enough. It all starts with that first thought. So today, when you open your eyes, take a deep breath and let that gratitude fill you up. You're here, and that's enough. Lesson 2. Focus on what you can control. It's easy to get caught in a loop, isn't it? The constant cycle of worry, stress, and fear about things we can't change. We wake up in the morning with a list of things that need to get done, problems to solve, and challenges to face. But so many of them are completely out of our control. The weather, someone else's mood, the traffic on your way to work. None of these things you can influence. Yet we still waste our time, our energy, and our mental peace trying to control them. But here's the catch. The more energy we pour into trying to change what we can't control, the less we have left to actually make a difference in the areas that matter. This is where Stoicism offers its profound wisdom. The Stoics understood that life is unpredictable, it's messy, chaotic, and at times downright unfair. But that doesn't mean we're helpless. The key to peace and freedom, according to Stoicism, is to focus on what we can control: our actions, our responses, and our attitude. Think about it. How many times have you wasted an entire day fretting over things that you couldn't change, things that were out of your hands? Maybe you spent hours stressing about a meeting that didn't go well, or thinking about a conversation you had days ago, overanalyzing every word, wishing you could change the past. But the truth is, you can't. And that's okay. The power you have is in the now, the decisions you make, the attitude you carry, and the way you respond to what life throws at you. So let's stop giving away our power to external circumstances and start focusing on what we can control. Here's a simple exercise. Make a mental list. What can you control today? You can control your attitude. You can choose whether you're going to face the day with a sense of gratitude and positivity or let it drag you down. You can control your actions. You decide whether or not you'll work towards your goals, no matter how small the step may seem. And you can control how you respond to challenges. Life is always going to throw curveballs, but how you react to them is your choice. The more you focus on these areas, the less you'll be bothered by the things you can't change. Imagine waking up every morning with a sense of clarity and purpose, because you've already made peace with the fact that some things are simply beyond your control. Instead of spending your energy trying to manage the uncontrollable, you direct it where it counts. You put your focus into your own behavior and decisions. When you shift your attention from what you can't control to what you can, you begin to feel empowered. Life starts to feel more manageable because you're no longer fighting an invisible battle. Instead, you're taking action in the areas where you have influence. This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending that difficult situations don't exist. It's about accepting that you can't control everything, and in doing so, you free up space to focus on the things that do matter. You stop giving your energy to things like someone else's opinion of you, the traffic you can't avoid, or the past that's already written. Instead, you choose to focus on your response, your attitude, and your next move. When you begin to live by this principle, something incredible happens. You start to feel more at peace, more centered, and more in control of your own life. It's a subtle shift, but it changes everything. Instead of reacting to the chaos around you, you become the calm at the center of it. This is the Stoic way. You acknowledge that the world is unpredictable and sometimes harsh, but your response to it is what determines the quality of your life. So take a moment right now to ask yourself, what can I control today? And then make a decision to let go of the things outside of your reach. Put your energy into what you can control, the choices you make, the way you treat others, and how you show up for yourself. This simple yet powerful shift will bring you closer to the peace and strength that Stoicism teaches, and it will allow you to truly take ownership of your life. The more you focus on your inner world, the less you'll be at the mercy of external circumstances. Lesson 3. Embrace the power of no. Saying no can feel like one of the hardest things to do, especially in a world that constantly expects us to be available, to say yes, to do more. But here's the truth. Saying no is not only a powerful act of self-love, it's also one of the most important things you can do for your mental health. We've been conditioned to think that saying yes to everything is a sign of kindness or being a good friend, but in reality, it often leads to exhaustion, resentment, and burnout. When you say yes out of obligation, you're giving away your energy, your time, and your peace. But when you say no, you're taking back control of your life. You're putting yourself first. And that's not selfish, it's necessary. Imagine this. You've had a long, exhausting week, and someone invites you to yet another event. Maybe it's a party, a dinner, or even just a gathering with friends. You can feel the weight of your tiredness pressing down on you. The thought of going out and socializing feels draining, and yet you hesitate. What will they think if I say no? Will they be disappointed? What if they feel hurt? But here's where the power of no comes in. Instead of forcing yourself to go and ending up resentful, instead of pretending you're fine when you're not, you simply say, "No, I need time for myself today." That's it. Short, simple, but incredibly powerful. It's a declaration that your peace, your energy, and your well-being are non-negotiable. It can be difficult at first, I know. Saying no might feel uncomfortable, especially if you've spent years people-pleasing, saying yes to everything and everyone. But with practice, it becomes easier. The more you set boundaries, the more you'll start to feel empowered, like you're taking back control of your time and your life. It's liberating. You start to realize that saying no doesn't mean you're rejecting anyone. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're choosing to take care of yourself so that you can show up as your best self when it matters most. Boundaries aren't just about protecting your time. They're also about protecting your energy. When you're constantly saying yes to everything, you're stretching yourself thin and you're left with nothing for yourself. But when you say no, you're saying, "I matter too. My needs matter." You're telling yourself that you deserve the space to rest, recharge, and focus on what's important. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of all time, said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." In many ways, saying no is an essential step toward becoming who you truly are. It's about honoring your needs, your limits, and your sense of self. If you don't respect your boundaries, no one else will. And if you don't take the time to care for yourself, you can't give your best to others. So, the next time someone asks for your time, your energy, or your attention, ask yourself this: does this serve me? Is this in alignment with my values, my needs, and my well-being? If the answer is no, then it's okay to say it. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Your time, your energy, your peace, they're yours to protect. At first, it might feel strange. You might feel guilty. You might worry about disappointing people. But remember, your peace is your responsibility. If you constantly say yes to everything, you're teaching others that your time doesn't matter. You're teaching them that it's okay to take from you without giving anything back. But when you set boundaries, you're teaching them that you value yourself, and in turn, they will learn to value you too. Saying no isn't a rejection of them, it's a gift to both of you. It's a way of protecting the relationship by making sure you're not depleted when you show up. And here's the kicker. When you practice saying no, you'll start to feel empowered, not just in your relationships, but in every aspect of your life. You'll start to realize that you have more time, more energy, and more space to focus on the things that truly matter: your health, your passions, your dreams, and the people who respect your boundaries. The more you practice it, the more it becomes second nature. You stop feeling guilty. You stop apologizing for taking care of yourself. Instead, you start to feel proud of the fact that you are prioritizing your well-being. And when you do that, you'll notice something remarkable. You'll have more to give. You'll have more energy to pour into the things that truly matter. Self-love means not just saying yes to others, but also saying yes to yourself. It means recognizing that you have a right to say no, to protect your peace, and to take time for yourself. The more you practice saying no, the more you'll realize that this is an act of love for yourself and love for those around you. Because when you take care of yourself, you're better equipped to show up for others in a meaningful way. The beauty of saying no is that it empowers you to be more present, more focused, and more intentional with your time and energy. It allows you to show up when it matters, not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire. It helps you invest in relationships that are reciprocal, in activities that align with your values, and in pursuits that bring you joy. So, the next time someone asks for your time, Don't be afraid to say no. Your peace, your energy, and your well-being are non-negotiable. And by saying no, you're not just taking care of yourself. You're building a life that honors who you truly are. As you continue to embrace the power of no, you'll start to notice a shift. You'll feel more at ease, more confident, and more aligned with your true self. You'll stop feeling like you're drowning in other people's demands and start feeling like you're the one in control. Saying no is not a weakness, it's a strength. It's the courage to put yourself first when it matters most. And as you continue on this journey, remember this: you are worthy of your own love and attention. You are deserving of peace, and sometimes saying no is the most loving thing you can do for yourself. Lesson 4. Be your own best friend. How often do you speak to yourself like you would speak to a friend? How often do you offer yourself the same kindness, compassion, and understanding you so freely give to others? The truth is, for most of us, the way we treat ourselves is far less gentle. We're often our own harshest critics, constantly pointing out our flaws and shortcomings, berating ourselves for every mistake, and believing that if we're tough enough on ourselves, we'll somehow become better. But think about it for a second. If you wouldn't say those things to a friend, why would you say them to yourself? Why is it that we can be so kind to the people we love, yet so cruel to the one person who truly matters, ourselves? Every day, you have the chance to change that narrative. It starts with the simplest act: being your own best friend. When you look in the mirror every morning, instead of focusing on what you don't like, take a moment to speak to yourself with kindness. Tell yourself, I'm worthy, I'm capable, I'm enough. These aren't just empty affirmations, they're declarations of self-respect. We often get caught up in the hustle of life, always striving for more, pushing ourselves to do better, and achieving the next goal. But in that pursuit, we forget to pause and remind ourselves that we are enough as we are in this very moment. Self-love isn't about being perfect. It's about recognizing and appreciating who you are right now. It's about accepting that you're a work in progress, but that you are still worthy of kindness, respect, and love. Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." This is not just a reflection on embracing our flaws, but on acknowledging our full humanity. We all have light and shadow, strengths and weaknesses. The path to self-love and growth starts with accepting ourselves as we are, imperfections, mistakes, and all. When we stop running from our flaws and instead embrace them, we allow ourselves to grow. Just as you would comfort a friend who's going through a hard time, you need to be able to offer that same compassion to yourself. When you make a mistake, when you fall short of your own expectations, be gentle with yourself. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love and care about deeply. Imagine how different your life could feel if you woke up every day and treated yourself with the same kindness you show others. Instead of waking up to a voice in your head telling you you're not good enough, imagine waking up to a voice that tells you, "You've got this." Instead of criticizing yourself for being too much or not enough, imagine offering yourself the reassurance you need to keep going. When you become your own best friend, you start to build a foundation of self-respect that will carry you through even the toughest moments. You won't need external validation as much, because you've already given yourself the love and support you need. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to do more, be more, achieve more. We're taught that self-worth is tied to our accomplishments, to what we can do and what we can achieve. But the reality is, self-worth doesn't come from outside, it comes from within. It's not about how much you do, but how much you value yourself in the process. Being your own best friend means honoring your worth just as you are, without needing to prove it to anyone. It's about showing up for yourself, even on the days when you don't feel at your best. It's about choosing to be kind to yourself when the world feels harsh, and giving yourself permission to be human. When you begin to speak to yourself with kindness, you create an inner environment where growth can thrive. Just like a garden needs nurturing to grow, your mind and heart need the nourishment of self-compassion to flourish. Think about the way you speak to a child or to someone who is struggling. You wouldn't tell them they're worthless or incapable, so why say that to yourself? You would encourage them, comfort them, and remind them that they are worthy, no matter what mistakes they've made. The same goes for you. You deserve that same level of care and understanding. You are your own biggest ally, and when you embrace this role, you start to cultivate a deeper sense of self-worth. This doesn't mean you won't make mistakes. It doesn't mean you'll always get everything right. Being your own best friend doesn't require perfection. In fact, it requires embracing your imperfections. It's about learning to love yourself, flaws and all, and trusting that those flaws don't define you. They are simply part of your story, part of the journey. When you accept yourself completely, you create the space for true growth and change. You stop trying to force yourself into someone else's mold and start embracing the person you are becoming. And as you continue on this journey of self-love, you'll notice something amazing happen. The more you treat yourself with kindness and respect, the more you'll be able to offer that same kindness and respect to others. You'll no longer be drained by the demands of others because you're taking care of yourself first. You'll show up in your relationships as a whole, not looking for someone else to complete you, but knowing that you are already enough. When you build a foundation of self-respect, you begin to attract people who respect you in return. You start to draw boundaries that honor your needs, and you stop tolerating relationships or situations that don't serve your highest good. Being your own best friend also means standing up for yourself. It means protecting your peace and not letting anyone diminish your worth. If someone speaks to you in a way that's disrespectful, you won't accept it. If someone asks too much of you, you'll say no without guilt. You'll stop allowing others to take advantage of your kindness because you've learned to respect your own boundaries. When you treat yourself with love, you begin to teach others how to treat you, and in doing so, you create a life that reflects the respect and love you give to yourself. So, how do you start today? Begin by speaking to yourself with kindness. Look in the mirror and say, "I am worthy. I am enough." These words may feel foreign at first, especially if you've spent years being hard on yourself, but over time, they'll become your new truth. As you continue this practice, you'll start to notice a shift. You'll begin to feel more confident, more grounded, and more at peace with yourself. You'll feel empowered to face whatever challenges come your way because you know you have your own back. Self-love is not about perfection. It's about acceptance. It's about showing up for yourself every single day, no matter how you feel, and choosing to be your own best friend. When you learn to love and care for yourself, you unlock the power to live a life that's authentic, fulfilling, and truly your own. So, today, start treating yourself the way you'd treat someone you love. You are worthy of that love, and you are worthy of the best version of yourself. Lesson 5. Accept that you are enough right now. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to strive for more. We're told to do more, be more, and achieve more. The message is clear. Who you are right now isn't enough. You need to change, improve, and level up. But what if I told you that the constant chase for something better, something more, is actually a trap? What if the most important thing you could do right now is accept that you are enough, just as you are, in this very moment? This doesn't mean you stop growing or striving. It simply means you stop waiting for some future version of yourself to finally feel worthy. You don't need to become someone else to deserve peace, love, and success. You are enough right now. In fact, you always have been. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This quote isn't just about material wealth. It's a reminder that true richness comes from within. The more we chase after external validation and the approval of others, the more we miss the beauty of accepting who we are in the present. We live in a world that values constant achievement and the next big milestone. But Epictetus understood that real wealth comes from inner peace, from being content with what you have, and from being satisfied with who you are at this very moment. The truth is, there's always something else to chase. A new goal, a new achievement, a new version of ourselves we feel we need to become. It can be exhausting, right? This constant pressure to become better, as if we aren't enough right now. But here's the paradox. You can't truly grow if you don't first accept where you are. Growth starts with acceptance, with recognizing that you're worthy of love, respect, and success exactly as you are. It's not about waiting until you've accomplished everything on your to-do list or reached some idealized version of yourself. It's about realizing that the person you are today, with all your imperfections and flaws, is worthy of all the things you desire in life. Now, I know it's easier said than done. You've probably heard these words before, "You are enough," but they don't always hit home. The reason they don't is because we often attach our worth to external factors, our achievements, our appearance, our bank account, or the approval of others. We're constantly looking outside of ourselves for validation. But what if you stopped waiting for someone else to tell you that you're enough? What if you decided that you're worthy right now, regardless of what's happening around you? Take a moment right now to pause. Breathe. Look at yourself in the mirror. Really look at the person staring back at you. Acknowledge everything you've been through, everything you've survived, and everything you've already accomplished. You are here. You are alive. You are worthy. There's nothing else you need to do to deserve that recognition. It's not about perfection. It's about acceptance. The act of accepting yourself in this moment is the first step toward true growth. Once you accept who you are, flaws and all, you can move forward with peace and confidence. The journey of self-improvement doesn't require self-rejection. It requires self-compassion. This doesn't mean that you stop trying to improve or that you stop striving for your goals. In fact, accepting that you are enough right now actually frees you up to pursue growth from a place of strength, not from a place of lack. When you accept yourself as you are, you stop chasing approval from others, and you stop attaching your self-worth to achievements. You can pursue your goals because they align with who you are, not because you think you need them to feel good enough. That shift in perspective changes everything. Suddenly, your worth isn't tied to your accomplishments. It's inherent. You don't have to prove anything. And here's the key. When you start to embrace yourself, you give others permission to do the same. Imagine how your relationships would change if you stopped measuring your worth by how others see you. Imagine how much lighter you would feel if you let go of the need for external validation. The truth is, the more you embrace your own worth, the more others will respect it. They will see your confidence, your authenticity, and your peace, and they'll be drawn to it. This shift in mindset can transform not only how you see yourself, but also how the world sees you. If you look at your life through the lens of, "I am enough right now," you'll start to notice how much pressure you've been putting on yourself. So many of us walk around with this underlying feeling that we're not quite there yet, that we haven't accomplished enough or grown enough to be worthy of success or happiness. But this mindset keeps us stuck in the cycle of not enough. We think that once we reach a certain point, once we have the job, the house, the relationship, the body, then we'll be enough. But this isn't true. You are enough right now. You don't have to wait for the future to feel deserving of everything you want. Once you begin to accept that you are enough right now, you stop chasing something you'll never catch. Instead, you start living in the present, where real growth happens. True growth isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you already are. It's about shedding the layers of self-doubt, insecurity, and fear that have been holding you back, and allowing yourself to step into your full potential. But none of that is possible until you accept the person you are today. Now, take a step back and reflect on your life so far. What have you already accomplished? What challenges have you faced and overcome? Recognize your strength, your resilience, and your uniqueness. You are enough, not because of what you've done or what you're going to do, but because you simply are. There's nothing you need to prove to anyone, including yourself. Self-acceptance is a practice, and like any practice, it takes time. You won't always feel it in every moment, but when you can, even just for a second, hold the truth that you are enough. It changes everything. This is not about becoming perfect. It's about embracing your humanness. It's about acknowledging that you are a person worthy of love, of respect, and of success right now, exactly as you are. The more you embrace this truth, the more your life will change. You'll make decisions from a place of confidence, not fear. You'll set healthier boundaries, knowing that you deserve to protect your peace. You'll take risks without the constant worry of failure, because you'll understand that even if you fall, you are still enough. And the most incredible thing about all of this is that as you accept who you are, you unlock a version of yourself that is free from the shackles of not enough. You become unstoppable. You become the person you were always meant to be. So take a moment today to reflect on who you are right now. Appreciate the person in the mirror. Recognize your worth in this moment, and remember, no matter what you've done or what you haven't, you are enough. And when you accept this truth, everything in your life will start to shift, because you'll stop chasing something you think you're missing. You'll realize that you've had everything you needed all along. You just needed to recognize it. Lesson 6. Prioritize rest. In today's fast-paced world, rest often feels like a luxury we can't afford. There's a constant pressure to keep moving, to stay productive, to keep achieving. From the moment we wake up, we're told that we must be doing something, working, creating, moving toward the next goal. The idea of slowing down, taking a break, or simply resting can feel almost wrong. We've been conditioned to equate rest with laziness or weakness, something we only deserve after we've worked ourselves into the ground. But here's a secret. Rest is not only necessary, it's productive. Without it, you'll never have the energy, focus, or clarity to give your best self to anything. When you prioritize rest, you're not just doing nothing. You're refueling, recharging, and giving your body and mind the time they need to perform at their highest potential. Think about it. How often have you pushed through exhaustion, telling yourself you'll rest later, only to find that you're running on empty? Eventually, that lack of rest catches up with you. Your focus begins to wane, your motivation starts to slip, and your creativity fizzles out. It's in those moments when you're running on fumes that you're the least productive. You think that pushing through will get you to the finish line faster, but all you're doing is slowing down the inevitable. You're not a machine, and your body and mind need time to recharge, just like any other resource. Epictetus taught us that no man is free who is not master of himself. This means that true freedom comes from the ability to recognize your limits and honor them. If you're constantly pushing yourself beyond your capacity, you're not mastering yourself. You're allowing external pressures and expectations to control you. Rest isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It's an acknowledgement that you are human, that you need time to heal and recover in order to show up at your best. Rest doesn't just mean sleep either. It's about taking the time to step away from the grind and allow yourself moments of peace, whether that's through meditation, a walk in nature, or simply sitting in silence for a few minutes. It's about letting your body and mind do what they naturally do when given the space to heal, rejuvenate, and reset. When you give yourself permission to rest without guilt, you're making an investment in your own well-being. You're choosing to honor your body and mind, knowing that they need care and attention to function properly. When we don't rest, we burn out. And when we burn out, we become ineffective. It's like trying to drive a car without ever stopping for gas. At first, the car runs fine, but eventually it sputters out and stops altogether. The same thing happens when you neglect rest. You might power through for a while, but eventually you'll hit a wall. You'll feel drained, unmotivated, and mentally foggy. You might even start to resent the work that once excited you. This is why rest is essential. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the fuel that keeps you going, the reset button that allows you to keep moving forward. We often hear people boast about how little they sleep or how much they're working, almost as if it's a badge of honor. But what's the cost? Are they truly functioning at their best? Or are they running on empty, doing a disservice to themselves and their work? The truth is, constantly overworking without rest doesn't make you more productive. It makes you less productive in the long run. Quality over quantity. When you take the time to rest, you return to your work with more energy, focus, and clarity. You're not just working harder, you're working smarter. Rest is not just about recovering from physical exhaustion. It's about emotional and mental rejuvenation too. When you take time to rest, you're giving your mind the space it needs to process, reflect, and reset. This allows you to return to your tasks with a fresh perspective and renewed energy. Imagine waking up every day feeling refreshed, not drained. Imagine being able to approach your goals with a clear mind instead of feeling overwhelmed by the constant pressure to do more. There's a difference between resting and avoiding. Resting is about acknowledging that you are worthy of time for yourself, that you deserve to recharge, and that you're taking action to take care of your well-being. Avoidance, on the other hand, comes from fear, from procrastination, or from not wanting to face the discomfort of the work ahead. Resting is proactive. It's a form of self-care that actually enhances your ability to show up and give your best. When you embrace rest as an essential part of the process, you stop seeing it as an obstacle and start viewing it as a tool for success. Prioritizing rest is an act of self-love and self-preservation. It's acknowledging that you matter, that your health and well-being come first. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to set boundaries around your time and energy. It allows you to say no to the things that drain you and yes to the things that refuel you. It's about recognizing that you are your most valuable asset. And just like any asset, you need to take care of it in order to perform at your best. Rest also plays a significant role in emotional resilience. When you give yourself the space to rest, you give yourself the opportunity to process your emotions. Instead of running away from your feelings, you allow yourself to feel them, understand them, and move through them. This emotional reset is just as important as a physical reset. When you are well rested, you are better equipped to handle stress, navigate challenges, and maintain a positive outlook. So, let's challenge the common misconception that rest is a sign of weakness. It's not. Rest is power, it's strength. It's the foundation of a productive, fulfilling life. When you learn to prioritize rest, you create the space you need to be the best version of yourself. You'll approach each day with more clarity, more focus, and more energy to give to the things that truly matter. And when you allow yourself to rest without guilt, you begin to realize that rest isn't just necessary, it's vital. If you want to live a life that is sustainable, joyful, and impactful, then rest has to be part of your routine. It's not something you do when you're done, it's something you do because you know that without it, you can't fully show up for your life. Treat rest with the same respect you treat your work, and watch how everything begins to shift. Your energy will increase, your creativity will flow, and you'll finally be able to give your best to the world. So, make rest a priority. Give yourself permission to rest, and when you do, you'll be amazed at how much more you're able to achieve, not just with your work, but with your life. Lesson 7. Speak to yourself with compassion. The way we speak to ourselves has more power than we realize. We tend to think that our inner dialogue is just background noise, something that's always there but doesn't truly matter. But if you really stop and listen to the words you're telling yourself, you might be surprised. How often do you call yourself stupid, lazy, or unworthy? How many times do you catch yourself thinking or saying things like, "I'm not good enough," or "I always mess things up"? Now, imagine if you spoke to your best friend the way you sometimes speak to yourself. Would you call them stupid for making a mistake? Would you criticize them for falling short of some expectation? Of course not. Yet we allow ourselves to be our own worst critics, even when we need compassion the most. This isn't just about positive thinking. It's about being kind to yourself, even when you slip up, fall short, or make mistakes. Self-compassion isn't about ignoring your flaws or pretending everything is perfect. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to someone you love. When we shift our inner dialogue from criticism to compassion, something profound happens. Instead of feeding our insecurities, we nurture our growth. Instead of dwelling on our failures, we focus on learning and improving. It's not about being soft on yourself, it's about being real and recognizing that everyone makes mistakes. What matters is how we choose to respond to them. Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." This is at the heart of self-compassion. The way we respond to our mistakes, failures, and shortcomings shapes who we become. If we constantly berate ourselves, we reinforce the belief that we are defined by our failures. But if we choose to respond with compassion, acknowledging the mistake, learning from it, and moving forward, we open the door to growth and transformation. Our failures don't define us. Our response to them does. So when you make a mistake, instead of calling yourself names or punishing yourself mentally, try a different approach. It's okay. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm doing my best, and that's enough. Imagine how different your life would be if you could consistently talk to yourself with compassion. Think about how much lighter your mental load would be if, instead of holding on to guilt and shame, you accepted your humanity and treated yourself with kindness. It would completely shift your perspective. Instead of seeing your mistakes as failures, you would see them as opportunities to grow. Instead of doubting your abilities, you would trust that you are capable of learning and evolving. This shift in mindset can radically change how you navigate life. You'd stop beating yourself up over every small slip-up and instead focus on the bigger picture, on how each mistake is part of your journey, part of your growth. Self-compassion isn't just about being kind to yourself when you're down. It's about recognizing your worth, even when things aren't perfect. We tend to be our own harshest critics, but if we could see ourselves through the eyes of someone who loves us, someone who understands that we're not perfect but still worthy of respect and care, our internal dialogue would change. Instead of looking in the mirror and focusing on your flaws, imagine looking at yourself and seeing someone who is trying, learning, and doing their best. You would feel more empowered, more motivated to keep going, and more accepting of your own imperfections. But let's be clear, self-compassion doesn't mean letting yourself off the hook or avoiding responsibility. It means being honest with yourself while still being kind. It's not about ignoring areas where you need to improve or pretending you don't have room to grow. It's about acknowledging your flaws with understanding instead of judgment. For example, if you didn't meet a deadline or if you didn't perform as well as you hoped, instead of calling yourself lazy or incompetent, try saying, "I could have done better, and I will next time." Recognize that you're human and that growth isn't linear. You're allowed to make mistakes, but you don't have to let those mistakes define you. One of the most powerful aspects of self-compassion is that it allows you to bounce back more quickly. When you're not constantly beating yourself up, you can move past your mistakes faster. You don't get stuck in a cycle of guilt or shame. Instead, you learn from the experience and move forward, stronger and wiser. This is key when it comes to resilience. The more compassionate you are with yourself, the more resilient you become. You stop getting derailed by setbacks and start seeing them as temporary challenges to overcome rather than signs of personal failure. In fact, self-compassion can even improve your relationships with others. When you treat yourself with kindness, you become better equipped to treat others the same way. You stop expecting perfection from yourself and from those around you. You start to recognize that everyone is doing the best they can with what they have, and that mistakes are a natural part of life. This makes it easier to forgive others when they fall short and to extend the same grace to them that you extend to yourself. It's important to remember that self-compassion isn't a one-time practice, it's a daily choice. It's something you have to consciously cultivate. But the more you practice speaking to yourself with kindness, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you'll begin to notice that you're not as critical of yourself as you once were. You'll begin to shift your internal dialogue from one of judgment to one of encouragement. And when you slip up or make a mistake, you'll respond with understanding, not self-criticism. So, how can you start practicing self-compassion today? The next time you make a mistake, pause for a moment before reacting. Instead of letting your first instinct be one of criticism, take a deep breath and remind yourself, "It's okay. I'm learning." Be patient with yourself and recognize that this moment does not define you. You are not your mistakes, and you are not the sum of your flaws. You are a person on a journey, and every step you take, even the missteps, are part of your growth. Self-compassion is about choosing to be your own biggest supporter instead of your harshest critic. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness, respect, and understanding that you would give to a friend. And as you begin to treat yourself with more compassion, you'll find that your life becomes lighter. You'll feel more confident, more at peace, and more empowered to take on the challenges ahead. The more compassionate you are with yourself, the more you'll realize that you don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You are enough just as you are. And by practicing self-compassion every day, you'll not only improve your relationship with yourself, but with everyone you meet along the way. Remember, the way you speak to yourself matters. The words you use shape how you see yourself, how you show up in the world, and how you interact with others. So, take a moment to speak to yourself with kindness today. You deserve it. You are worthy of love, understanding, and patience, especially from yourself. Lesson 8. Show up for yourself, no matter what. There are days when everything feels heavy, when the weight of the world seems just a little too much to bear. You wake up in the morning, and the first thought that comes to mind is that you want to crawl back under the covers, hit snooze, and forget about everything waiting for you. Those are the days when you feel like giving up, when your motivation is nowhere to be found, and the comfort of avoiding the world feels so much easier than facing it. But here's the thing, the best thing you can do on those days is to show up for yourself, no matter what. It's not about having everything figured out or doing everything perfectly. It's about committing to keep moving forward, even when the path feels unclear. It's about showing up for yourself, even when you feel like you don't have the energy to give. And that, my friends, is where true strength begins. We often think that showing up means having all the answers, being at our best, or putting on a brave face. But the reality is that showing up simply means being present in whatever form that takes. Some days, showing up may mean pushing through the fatigue and going to work. Other days, it might mean taking a step back and giving yourself the grace to rest. But on all days, it's about making the choice to keep going. Even if you're tired, even if things aren't going as planned, you have the power to choose to keep moving forward. And that choice, that simple act of showing up, can make all the difference. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote speaks to the heart of showing up for yourself. It reminds us that while we can't control everything around us, we always have control over how we respond. Life will always throw challenges our way. There will be days when things don't go as planned, when obstacles arise, and when you feel like you've hit a wall. But in those moments, you still have a choice. You have the power to decide how you respond, to choose resilience over defeat. Showing up for yourself is about recognizing that power and using it, even when it feels like the world is working against you. It's about realizing that your strength doesn't come from avoiding challenges. It comes from facing them head-on and refusing to give up, even when the going gets tough. Consistency is key here. It's easy to show up when everything is going well, when you're feeling motivated and confident. But the real test of your commitment to yourself comes on the difficult days, the days when you don't feel like it, when everything feels harder than usual. It's on those days that consistency becomes your superpower. It's about making the choice, even when you don't feel like it, to show up and do what you can, even if it's just a small step forward. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture or a huge leap. It's the little actions, the small choices to keep going, that add up over time and lead to lasting change. On those days when you want to quit, remember that showing up doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means that you are willing to keep moving forward, no matter how messy or imperfect the process is. We tend to put so much pressure on ourselves to perform at a high level every single day, but the truth is, perfection is not the goal. The goal is progress. It's the willingness to keep going, even if the pace feels slow or the road is uncertain. Think about it. Every time you choose to show up for yourself, you're building momentum. Each day you continue, even when you don't feel like it, you're strengthening your resilience. And over time, that consistency will create the foundation for a more fulfilling and successful life. The days when you feel like giving up are the days that matter the most. It's easy to show up when everything feels easy and effortless. But it's during the struggles that true growth happens. It's in those difficult moments that you learn the most about yourself, about your strength, and about what you're truly capable of. When you keep going in the face of adversity, you discover a resilience within yourself that you never knew existed. And that resilience will carry you through the toughest of times. Showing up for yourself is also about setting boundaries. It's about recognizing when you're pushing yourself too hard and when it's time to take a step back. There's strength in knowing when to rest, when to recharge, and when to honor your needs. Self-care isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about recognizing that taking care of yourself is essential for long-term success. When you show up for yourself, you make the commitment to both push yourself when necessary and give yourself the grace to rest when needed. It's all about balance, understanding that you can't pour from an empty cup, and by prioritizing your well-being, you make it possible to show up fully when the world needs you most. The beauty of showing up for yourself is that it becomes a habit. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Over time, you begin to build trust in yourself. You start to believe that no matter what happens, you can handle it. You've shown up for yourself in the past, and you'll continue to do so. That trust in yourself becomes a powerful force that propels you forward, even in the most difficult of times. It's the kind of trust that makes you believe, no matter how messy the journey gets, you'll keep going. And that belief in yourself is what makes all the difference. So, next time you're faced with a tough day, when you feel like pulling the covers over your head and hiding from the world, remind yourself that showing up is the key. Even if it's just one small action, one tiny step forward, you've already won. You've chosen to keep going. And that's where the real magic happens. Consistency doesn't require perfection. It requires persistence. It requires the willingness to keep showing up, even when the going gets tough. There's a deep sense of empowerment in knowing that you can count on yourself to show up no matter what. And when you develop this habit of showing up for yourself, it changes everything. You stop waiting for external circumstances to change before you start taking action. You realize that you are the one who holds the power to create the life you want. You are the one who decides what's possible. And when you show up for yourself, you begin to shape the future you desire, one small step at a time. So, don't let the tough days stop you. Show up, keep going, and trust that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. Remember, showing up for yourself is a powerful act of self-love. It's a choice to put yourself first, to trust in your own strength, and to keep moving forward no matter what. The most important thing is to stay consistent and never give up, because the person who shows up, even on the hard days, is the one who will ultimately succeed. Keep going and trust that every step you take brings you closer to the life you're meant to create. You've got this. Lesson 9. Accept imperfection. We live in a world that constantly tells us to be perfect. Everywhere we look, we're bombarded with images of flawless lives, bodies, careers, and relationships. Social media has made it even easier to compare ourselves to the carefully curated highlight reels of others, leading us to believe that perfection is not only possible, but necessary. We start to think that if we aren't perfect, we aren't enough. But here's the truth. You're not meant to be perfect, and neither is anyone else. Perfection is a myth, a moving target that only exhausts us when we try to reach it. The pursuit of it doesn't lead to fulfillment, it leads to burnout. Becoming who you truly are doesn't require perfection. In fact, it requires embracing imperfection. It means accepting the flaws, mistakes, and failures that are a natural part of life and realizing that they are not signs of weakness, but rather opportunities for growth. Perfection isn't what makes us strong or valuable. It's our ability to continue moving forward, to keep learning, and to accept ourselves fully, flaws and all, that gives us strength. If we're constantly chasing perfection, we never truly give ourselves the space to be human. We get stuck in a cycle of self-criticism, always feeling like we're falling short, always striving for something that can never be reached. But when we embrace imperfection, we free ourselves from that cycle. We start to appreciate the journey for what it is, rather than fixating on some unattainable ideal. Each step, each misstep, each mistake becomes a valuable lesson. Every day you show up, you're making progress. Some days will be messy, some will be smooth, but they all count. Each day is a step forward, whether you realize it or not. This is where the power of self-love lies. Self-love isn't about being perfect. It's about accepting yourself exactly as you are, right now. It's about recognizing that you're worthy of love and respect, not because you've achieved some impossible standard, but because you are doing your best and showing up for yourself every single day. Self-love is about embracing the journey, imperfections and all. It's about understanding that you're allowed to stumble, to falter, and to struggle, because those moments don't define you. What defines you is your ability to keep going, to keep learning, and to keep growing, even when things aren't perfect. When you stop striving for perfection, something incredible happens. You begin to find peace with where you are, with who you are, and with the life you're living. You start to appreciate the beauty in the messiness, in the process, and in the small victories that don't always show up on social media, but mean everything in the grand scheme of your life. The truth is, perfection is boring. It's static. It's the imperfections, the mistakes, and the challenges that make life rich and meaningful. Without them, there's no growth, no change, no progress. It's easy to get caught in the trap of thinking that we'll be happy once we're perfect, once we've reached that ideal version of ourselves. But the reality is, that moment never comes. The finish line always moves further away. The pursuit of perfection keeps us on a never-ending treadmill, always running but never arriving. But when we shift our focus from perfection to progress, we start to celebrate each step along the way. We start to see that each day we show up, we are becoming the person we want to be, even if we're not there yet. And that's where the real fulfillment lies. Think about it. How many times have you looked at something you've done, whether it's a project, a goal, or even a relationship, and thought, I could have done that better? How many times have you found yourself obsessing over the flaws and imperfections, instead of acknowledging the hard work and effort that went into it? We tend to focus on what went wrong rather than what went right. We focus on the flaws rather than the progress. But what if you started to celebrate the progress, no matter how small it seemed? What if you started to appreciate that every step forward, even the tiny ones, is a victory in itself? Self-compassion plays a huge role in this shift. When we are kind to ourselves, we begin to understand that imperfections are a natural part of being human. We stop punishing ourselves for being less than perfect and start embracing our mistakes as opportunities to learn. When we are compassionate with ourselves, we give ourselves permission to be imperfect. We recognize that perfection is a moving target, and rather than chasing it, we choose to focus on the things we can control, the way we show up for ourselves, the effort we put in, and the kindness we extend to ourselves and others. Instead of looking at your mistakes as failures, start seeing them as stepping stones. Instead of focusing on what you haven't accomplished, celebrate what you have. Remember that every mistake is an opportunity to learn, and every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. This mindset doesn't just change the way you see yourself, it changes the way you experience life. You stop feeling defeated by your imperfections and start seeing them as part of the beautiful, imperfect journey that is your life. In fact, embracing imperfection is a powerful act of self-love. It's an acknowledgement that you're worthy of love, not because you're perfect, but because you're human. The pursuit of perfection only breeds dissatisfaction. There's always something more to do, something else to achieve. But when you shift your focus to progress, you give yourself the freedom to appreciate where you are right now. You give yourself permission to take breaks, to make mistakes, and to grow at your own pace. This doesn't mean you stop striving to be better. It means you let go of the idea that you need to be perfect to be worthy of success or happiness. It means you accept yourself right now, in this moment, with all of your imperfections, knowing that you are enough as you are. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be authentic, to be real, and to embrace your journey, flaws and all. Because when you can accept your imperfections, you free yourself from the burden of perfectionism and open the door to real growth, real happiness, and real fulfillment. So, let go of the idea that you need to be perfect. Let go of the unrealistic expectations you've placed on yourself. Instead, focus on progress. Celebrate the small wins, the lessons learned, and the effort you put in. Every day that you show up, you're making progress. And that, in itself, is something to be proud of. Embrace your imperfections because they are a part of who you are, and that's more than enough. Lesson 10. Your environment affects your energy. Take a moment and think about the space you're in right now. The people, the places, the things. How do they make you feel? Do they lift you up or do they drain you? It's easy to overlook, but the environment around you has a huge impact on your mental, emotional, and physical energy. If you surround yourself with negativity, with people who bring you down, with clutter or chaos, you're constantly fighting against that energy. But when you create an environment that nurtures you, that supports your well-being, you make it easier to thrive. You are the average of your environment. That's a powerful statement, and it's true in so many ways. The spaces you inhabit, the people you interact with, the things you see every day, they all have a profound impact on how you feel, how you think, and how you show up in the world. But how can you become who you truly are if your environment isn't supporting that process? If your surroundings are filled with negativity, stress, or clutter, it's hard to focus on personal growth. Your environment should reflect who you are and who you want to become. It should inspire you, calm you, and help you be the best version of yourself. It's not just about physical space, it's about the energy that fills it. Think about the people you spend your time with. Are they lifting you up, encouraging you to chase your dreams and be your best self? Or are they draining you, bringing negativity, gossip, and unnecessary drama into your life? The people around you have a profound influence on your energy. If you're constantly surrounded by people who are negative, who criticize or belittle you, you'll start to absorb that energy. It's hard to feel confident, motivated, and inspired when the people around you don't support or encourage your growth. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with people who genuinely care about your well-being, who cheer you on and challenge you to be better, your energy shifts. You feel more inspired, more capable, and more confident in your own abilities. The same principle applies to the places you spend time in. Do the places you go make you feel calm and centered, or do they leave you feeling stressed and drained? Think about your home, your workspace, and the environments you frequent. Are they filled with clutter, distractions, or things that make you anxious? Or are they organized, peaceful, and aligned with your values? Your space should feel like a sanctuary, a place where you can relax, recharge, and be yourself. When your environment feels calm and organized, it's easier to focus, to think clearly, and to nurture your well-being. And let's not forget the things you surround yourself with, the books, the artwork, the objects that fill your space. Are they inspiring? Do they remind you of your goals, your values, and your passions? Or are they just things you've accumulated over time without much thought or intention? The objects in your environment can have a powerful impact on your mindset. Choose to surround yourself with things that uplift you, that inspire you, that reflect who you want to be. Whether it's a piece of art that makes you smile, a book that challenges your thinking, or a reminder of your personal goals, these objects can help keep you grounded and focused on what matters most. The truth is, we can't separate ourselves from our environment. We're constantly interacting with the world around us, and it's shaping our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors. If you're constantly exposed to negativity or chaos, it's going to be much harder to stay positive, focused, and motivated. But if you take control of your environment, if you intentionally create spaces and relationships that support your growth, you'll find that your energy shifts. You'll feel more capable, more inspired, and more at peace with yourself. Self-love isn't just about how you treat yourself. It's also about creating an environment that nurtures and supports you. It's about recognizing that the people, places, and things around you have a direct impact on your energy and taking steps to curate a space that helps you thrive. You don't have to do it all at once. Start with small changes. Maybe it's setting boundaries with people who drain your energy. Maybe it's decluttering your home or workspace to create a more calming environment. Maybe it's adding a few objects that inspire you, something that reminds you of your dreams and your goals. Every small step you take in creating a more supportive environment is a step toward nurturing your well-being. Remember, you are the average of the environment you live in. If you surround yourself with positivity, inspiration, and support, that's what you'll reflect in your own life. If you surround yourself with negativity, clutter, and stress, that's what you'll feel. You have the power to choose your environment, and in doing so, you have the power to choose your energy. When you prioritize creating an environment that nurtures your well-being, you make it easier to show up as the best version of yourself. So, take a step back and look at your surroundings. Are they lifting you up or draining you? What changes can you make today to create a space that supports your growth and your well-being? You deserve to be surrounded by people, places, and things that inspire and uplift you. Start there and watch how your energy shifts. Your environment is a reflection of who you are, and it has the power to shape who you become. Choose wisely and choose with intention. When you do, you'll find that your energy shifts, your mindset transforms, and your life begins to align with the person you're truly meant to be. Lesson 11. Practice gratitude every morning. The way we start our mornings sets the tone for the entire day. It's easy to get caught up in the chaos of daily life, to wake up feeling rushed and overwhelmed. But what if you could shift your perspective, even for just a few minutes, and start each day with a feeling of gratitude? Gratitude isn't just a nice feeling. It's a powerful tool that can transform your mindset and your energy. It's one of the simplest, yet most profound practices you can implement into your daily routine. When you begin your morning by acknowledging the things you're grateful for, you immediately change the way you see the world. Instead of focusing on what you lack or what you don't have, you shift your focus to what you already possess. And in doing so, you invite more peace, abundance, and positivity into your life. When you wake up in the morning, instead of immediately reaching for your phone or diving into the day's tasks, take a moment to breathe and reflect on what you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be anything grand or elaborate. It can be as simple as being grateful for your health, your bed, or a warm cup of coffee. These small, everyday things are often taken for granted, but they hold immense value when you take the time to appreciate them. By starting your day with gratitude, you're training your brain to focus on the positives instead of the negatives. You're rewiring your mind to notice the good, the beautiful, and the valuable things in your life, rather than what's missing. The truth is, our brains are wired to focus on problems. Our survival instincts are geared towards scanning for danger, looking for things that could go wrong. And while this was essential for our ancestors, in modern life, it often means that we focus on the things that cause us stress, anxiety, and worry. But when you practice gratitude, you take control of that mindset. You choose to focus on what's going right, on what you have, and on what you can be thankful for. This shift in focus doesn't just improve your mental and emotional state, It also positively impacts your physical health. Studies have shown that practicing gratitude regularly can lower stress levels, improve sleep, and even boost your immune system. Gratitude is not just good for your soul, it's good for your body too. Starting your day with gratitude doesn't mean you ignore the challenges or difficulties in your life. It doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect or dismissing your problems. It means acknowledging that even in the midst of struggle, there are things to be thankful for. Gratitude allows you to find balance. It lets you see that while things may not always be easy, there are still aspects of your life that bring you joy, peace, and fulfillment. And when you recognize those things, you're better equipped to handle the challenges that come your way. Gratitude isn't about avoiding difficulty. It's about finding strength in the face of it. It's about realizing that even when life feels hard, there are always things to be thankful for, and that gratitude can be a source of resilience. One of the most beautiful things about gratitude is that it shifts your energy. When you start your day with appreciation, you're setting a positive, uplifting tone for everything that follows. Instead of waking up feeling overwhelmed by the tasks ahead or anxious about the unknown, you wake up grounded in gratitude. And that energy, the energy of abundance, of contentment, of peace, ripples out into everything you do, whether it's how you approach your work, interact with others, or handle stress. The energy you carry throughout the day is deeply influenced by the mindset you cultivate in the morning. Starting your day with gratitude doesn't just change your attitude, it changes your energy, and energy is everything. Gratitude is also a practice that compounds over time. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. As you consistently focus on what you're grateful for, you begin to notice even more things to appreciate. It's like a snowball effect. Once you start, it keeps building. And as your gratitude deepens, so does your connection to the present moment. You become more aware of the beauty around you, of the little things that make life meaningful. You begin to savor your experiences instead of rushing through them, appreciating the richness of each moment, no matter how small. You don't have to wait for a big moment to practice gratitude. It's not about waiting for a special occasion or a milestone to feel thankful. Gratitude is a daily practice. It's in the ordinary moments, the smell of fresh coffee in the morning, the warmth of the sun on your face, the laughter of a friend, the quiet moments of peace. When you learn to appreciate these small, everyday gifts, your perspective shifts. You stop waiting for something outside of yourself to bring you happiness, and you start realizing that happiness is already within you right now. So, how do you start your gratitude practice? It can be as simple as taking a few moments each morning to reflect on what you're thankful for. You don't need a fancy journal or a set routine, just a moment of stillness, a deep breath, and a few things that bring you peace. Try focusing on different aspects of your life each day: your health, your relationships, your work, your home, the beauty around you. The more specific you are, the more powerful the practice becomes. Instead of saying, "I'm grateful for my life," try, "I'm grateful for the fact that I woke up today, for the roof over my head, and for the chance to pursue my dreams." The more you make gratitude a part of your daily routine, the more it will transform the way you see the world. Incorporating gratitude into your daily life doesn't mean you have to become overly sentimental or idealistic. It simply means shifting your focus. It's about choosing to look at what you have instead of what you lack. And when you do this consistently, you'll begin to notice a change in your mindset. You'll feel more grounded, more centered, and more connected to the present moment. Your life will feel richer, fuller, and more meaningful, because you'll be able to see the abundance that's always been there. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a practice, and like any practice, it grows stronger the more you do it. So start today. Take a moment each morning to reflect on what you're thankful for and let that gratitude shape the rest of your day. When you focus on what you have, you begin to attract more of it. And as you carry that energy throughout the day, you'll notice a shift. You'll feel more positive, more at peace, and more connected to the world around you. Gratitude doesn't just change your perspective, it changes your life. So what are you grateful for today? Take a moment to reflect and let that gratitude lead the way. Lesson 12. Set boundaries with love, not guilt. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful, yet often misunderstood, forms of self-love. In a world that constantly demands more of us, our time, energy, and attention, it's easy to feel guilty about saying no. We fear disappointing others, being seen as selfish, or even losing relationships over setting limits. But the truth is, setting boundaries isn't about pushing people away. It's about protecting your peace. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of the same care and respect you so willingly offer to others. And yet, so many of us struggle to set boundaries because we feel guilty, as if we're doing something wrong by prioritizing our own needs. But what if I told you that honoring your needs is one of the most loving things you can do, for yourself and for the people around you? To become who you truly are, you must first honor who you are in the present moment, your needs, your feelings, and your boundaries. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're saying no to your own well-being. On the other hand, when you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to yourself. You're saying that your time, your energy, and your peace are valuable. And that's not something to feel guilty about. In fact, it's an act of self-respect and self-preservation. Boundaries are not about rejecting people or being difficult. They're about protecting your space so you can show up as the best version of yourself. When you constantly say yes to others at the expense of your own well-being, you end up depleted. You lose your energy, your focus, and your peace, which makes it even harder to be there for the people who matter most. Setting boundaries is the key to preventing burnout, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. It's about knowing that while you want to help, you can't pour from an empty cup. In order to give to others, you must first give to yourself. The most challenging part of setting boundaries often comes with the guilt we feel. We worry about disappointing people, letting them down, or being labeled as selfish. But what if we reframed our perspective on guilt? What if instead of feeling guilty for saying no, we recognize that saying no is a form of self-love? Every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your values or needs, you are saying yes to honoring yourself. That is the essence of self-care. It's not about abandoning others. It's about being clear about your limits and ensuring that your energy is preserved for what truly matters to you. The key is to set boundaries with love, not guilt. When you feel the pull of guilt creeping in, remind yourself that honoring your needs is not only necessary but loving. You are not responsible for the feelings of others when you set healthy boundaries. Others may be disappointed or even upset, but that is not your burden to carry. People who truly respect you will understand and appreciate your need for space. And for those who don't, well, that's a reflection of their inability to respect your boundaries, not your fault. When you set boundaries with love, you are teaching others how to treat you, how to honor your energy, and how to engage with you in a way that respects your needs. It's important to remember that boundaries don't have to be rigid or harsh. They can be gentle, yet firm, clear, yet compassionate. It's not about shutting people out or becoming defensive. It's about communicating your limits in a way that feels authentic to you. Boundaries are an invitation to healthier relationships, not a declaration of war. By setting them, you are showing others that you respect yourself And in turn, you teach them to respect you as well. Setting boundaries also allows you to protect your peace. In our fast-paced, often chaotic world, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We're constantly pulled in different directions, juggling responsibilities, expectations, and demands. But when you take the time to set boundaries, you are creating space for what truly matters to you. You are making room for the things that nourish you, whether that's time for self-care, pursuing your passions, or spending quality time with the people you love. Boundaries allow you to prioritize what's important, and by doing so, you create a life that feels more fulfilling, more aligned with who you truly are. The more you practice setting boundaries, the easier it becomes. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, especially if you've spent a lifetime saying yes to everything and everyone. But with each boundary you set, you'll begin to notice a shift in how you feel. You'll feel more empowered, more in control of your time and energy, and less drained by the demands of others. Your relationships will become more genuine and meaningful because they are based on mutual respect and understanding, rather than obligation or resentment. And most importantly, you'll learn to prioritize yourself, knowing that self-love is not selfish, it's necessary for a happy, healthy life. Boundaries are a reflection of your self-worth. The more you respect your own limits, the more you'll expect others to do the same. When you allow others to overstep your boundaries, you are sending the message that your needs are not as important as theirs. But when you stand firm in your boundaries, you send a powerful message to the world. I matter, my time and energy matter. And that message will be reflected back to you in the way others treat you. So, how do you start setting boundaries without guilt? Start small. It could be as simple as saying no to something you don't want to do or asking for space when you need it. Practice saying no with confidence and kindness. You don't have to explain yourself or offer a long justification. Simply state your boundary and trust that it is enough. Over time, you'll become more comfortable with asserting your needs, and the guilt will begin to fade. As you practice setting boundaries, you'll notice a shift in your relationships. Some people may be taken aback at first, but those who truly care about you will come to respect your limits. And those who don't? Well, their lack of respect is a reflection of their own issues, not a reflection of you. The key to setting boundaries is not about being rigid or unyielding. It's about being clear and compassionate. It's about creating an environment that supports your well-being, where you can show up as your best self without feeling drained or overwhelmed. When you set boundaries with love, you honor your own needs, protect your peace, and create healthier, more fulfilling relationships. You teach others how to treat you, and you teach yourself that you are worthy of respect. So, let go of the guilt. Recognize that setting boundaries is a form of self-love and self-preservation. Your time, energy, and peace are valuable, and they deserve to be protected. When you set boundaries with love, you are doing more than just taking care of yourself. You're also creating a life that is aligned with your values and your well-being. Don't be afraid to say no when you need to. It's not selfish. It's necessary. Your peace matters. Your happiness matters. You matter. Lesson 13. Challenge negative thoughts. Our minds are powerful, but they can also be our biggest enemies. Often they feed us a steady stream of negative thoughts, thoughts that can undermine our confidence, fuel our doubts, and make us feel stuck. I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. I always mess things up. These are just a few examples of the negative self-talk that we've all heard at some point, and for many of us, these thoughts can become all-consuming. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing everything your mind tells you. But what if I told you that you don't have to accept these negative thoughts as truth? What if you could challenge them and take control of the narrative your mind is creating? The truth is, you have the power to change the story. Carl Jung once said, You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Our thoughts shape our actions, and our actions, in turn, shape who we are. So if your mind is constantly feeding you negativity, it's important to take a step back and challenge those thoughts. Don't let them control you. Instead, take the time to ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Is it true? Is it serving me? When you start to question the validity of negative thoughts, you begin to break their power. If the answer to any of those questions is no, then it's time to replace that thought with something more empowering. Our minds tend to focus on the negative. This is part of our evolutionary biology. The human brain is wired to prioritize negative experiences because they once helped us survive in a dangerous world. But in modern life, this can often mean that we fixate on the things that go wrong, while overlooking the things that go right. We're constantly looking for flaws, problems, and dangers, even when they're not present. This is why challenging negative thoughts is so important. It's a way of taking back control. Instead of letting your mind run wild with worst-case scenarios and self-doubt, you can choose to interrupt that pattern. You can replace negativity with empowerment, with the understanding that not everything your mind tells you is true. For example, when you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never be successful," challenge that thought. Ask yourself, is that thought helping me? Is it true? Can I really know the future or the outcome of my efforts? Most of the time, the answer is no. So, instead of letting that thought spiral into self-criticism, replace it with something that serves you. I am capable of growth. I am learning. I am doing my best. These positive affirmations don't have to be grand. They just need to be true, empowering, and focused on what you can control. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to catch negative thoughts before they take root and replace them with beliefs that move you forward. It's also important to remember that negative thoughts are often based on assumptions, fears, or past experiences, not reality. They're often exaggerations of our doubts, blown out of proportion by our minds. When you challenge negative thoughts, you're questioning the assumptions that have been holding you back. Are they based on facts, or are they just fears and insecurities that you've internalized over time? This shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating. Once you realize that many of your negative thoughts are not grounded in reality, you can begin to let go of the power they have over you. Instead of letting fear dictate your actions, you can choose to act from a place of clarity and confidence. Challenging negative thoughts is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about acknowledging your doubts and fears, but not letting them define you. Life isn't about being free from challenges or imperfections. It's about learning how to respond to them. And when you challenge the negative thoughts that arise, you're creating a new response. You're saying, "I see you, negative thought, but I don't have to believe you. I don't have to let you control my actions." This practice of challenging negative thoughts requires awareness and consistency. It won't happen overnight, and it may feel unnatural at first. But like any new habit, the more you practice, the more second nature it becomes. The key is to start small. Notice when negative thoughts arise and then pause to question them. Over time, you'll become more skilled at challenging them before they have the chance to take over. Instead of automatically believing every negative thought that crosses your mind, you'll begin to see them for what they are, just thoughts, not truths. It's also important to recognize that challenging negative thoughts isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about creating a space between you and the thought. It's about recognizing that you are not your thoughts. Just because a negative thought pops into your mind doesn't mean it defines who you are. You are the observer of your thoughts, not their prisoner. When you take a step back and see them for what they are, temporary, changeable, and often based on fear, you can begin to detach from them. This detachment is liberating. It gives you the power to respond with intention instead of reacting out of habit. Over time, as you challenge more and more negative thoughts, you'll notice a shift in how you view yourself and your life. You'll begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles, strengths instead of weaknesses, and growth instead of failure. This shift in mindset doesn't mean that everything will be perfect, but it does mean that you'll be better equipped to handle the challenges that come your way. You'll stop allowing negative thoughts to control your actions, and instead, you'll take control of your thoughts and your life. The next time you find yourself spiraling into negative thoughts, try this. Pause, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Is it true? Is it serving me? If the answer is no, replace it with something empowering, something that aligns with the person you want to become. You have the power to change the story you're telling yourself, and when you do, you'll begin to see the world and yourself in a whole new light. Negative thoughts may always come, but they don't have to dictate your reality. You have the power to choose what you believe, and that's where true freedom lies. Lesson 14. Stop comparing your journey to others. In today's world, it's nearly impossible to avoid comparison. We scroll through social media, seeing snapshots of other people's lives, perfect moments, accomplishments, and adventures, and it's easy to feel like we're falling behind. It's easy to think, why am I not there yet? Why am I not doing what they're doing? Why is everyone else ahead of me? But here's the hard truth. Comparison is a thief of joy. It takes away your peace and replaces it with self-doubt. The more we compare ourselves to others, the more we lose sight of our own unique journey, the one that's unfolding exactly as it's supposed to. Everyone's path is different, and that's what makes your journey so valuable. The moments you're experiencing right now, the challenges, the small victories, the failures, and the lessons, they're all a part of your story. They are shaping you into the person you are meant to become. When you focus too much on where someone else is, you risk overlooking the growth that's happening in your own life. You're exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't always feel like it. We live in a time when we are constantly exposed to other people's successes. Whether it's a friend's promotion, someone's travel photos, or the influencer with the perfect life, it's easy to feel like you're lagging behind. But the truth is, you're not seeing the full picture. Social media is often a curated highlight reel, not the reality. You're not seeing the late nights, the struggles, the failures, or the behind-the-scenes moments that everyone goes through. Everyone is fighting their own battles, even if it's not visible on the surface. And the fact that you're not where someone else is doesn't diminish your own progress. It doesn't make you any less successful or valuable. You are on your own path for a reason, and that path is leading you to exactly where you need to be. Think about this. When you compare your journey to someone else's, you're not only questioning your own value, but you're also ignoring the unique qualities and experiences that have made you who you are. The beauty of your journey lies in its individuality. You've learned things that others haven't, faced challenges that no one else could truly understand, and grown in ways that are uniquely yours. The process of comparing yourself to others robs you of appreciating that uniqueness. You're diminishing the very thing that makes your path special, the fact that it's yours and only yours. The problem with comparison is that it always leads to dissatisfaction. It's easy to feel like you're not doing enough, not achieving enough, or not living up to some standard you've set in your mind. But the reality is, you are doing enough. You are exactly where you need to be. You're not behind. You're just on a different timeline. And that's okay. The journey you're on is teaching you things that are going to be crucial for your growth, even if it doesn't feel that way right now. The more you compare, the more you're pulled away from your own truth. The more you focus on others, the more you forget to celebrate your own progress. In fact, comparison doesn't just steal your joy, it also steals your energy. Instead of investing time and effort into your own growth, you're wasting energy wondering why you're not further along. Instead of appreciating where you are, you're looking at someone else's achievements and feeling inadequate. But when you stop comparing, you free yourself from that cycle. You start to see your own value. You start to appreciate the small wins, the steps forward, and the lessons learned along the way. You become more focused on your own progress and less concerned about where anyone else is. Comparison also leads to a dangerous mindset, the belief that there's only one way to succeed. The truth is, success looks different for everyone. Some people find fulfillment in a traditional career, while others find it in entrepreneurship, art, or travel. Some people have families, others don't. Some people work 9-to-5 jobs, while others create their own schedules. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to life. Just because someone else is ahead in one area doesn't mean you're failing. Your path is unique, and it's leading you toward your own version of success. It's about understanding that you don't have to follow someone else's timeline to be on the right track. When you stop comparing, you give yourself the permission to celebrate where you are. You start to recognize the growth that's happened, the obstacles you've overcome, and the lessons you've learned. And that is incredibly powerful. Self-reflection and self-compassion become your tools for success, rather than envy or self-doubt. Instead of feeling discouraged by where someone else is, you begin to appreciate your own growth and understand that it's all happening in perfect timing. You're not behind, you're exactly where you need to be. You may not always see it, but every small step you take is a victory. You might look at someone else's accomplishments and feel like you're falling short, but remember that they too have had their own struggles, setbacks, and learning curves. No one's journey is free of obstacles. It's easy to assume that everyone else has it all figured out, but we're all just figuring it out as we go. When you take the pressure off yourself to constantly measure up to others, you allow yourself the space to breathe, grow, and thrive. At the end of the day, comparison is an unfair game. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You're comparing your full journey, with all its ups and downs, to someone else's snapshot. Life is about progress, not perfection, and your journey is valuable in its own right. Instead of looking at someone else's success, look at your own. What have you accomplished? What have you learned? What growth have you experienced? These are the things that truly matter, and they're worth celebrating. So stop comparing. Start focusing on your own growth. Be proud of where you are and where you've come from. Remember that your path is unique, and it's unfolding exactly as it's meant to. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep learning, and trust that your journey is leading you to exactly where you're supposed to be. Embrace your journey. Celebrate it, because it's yours, and that makes it beautiful. Lesson 15. Learn to let go. There comes a time in everyone's life when holding on becomes more painful than letting go. It could be a toxic relationship, a habit that drains you, or even an outdated belief about yourself that no longer serves you. These things, while once important, have become burdens that prevent you from moving forward. But here's the thing. Self-love sometimes means letting go of the things that no longer serve you. It's not about giving up. It's about creating space for new, healthier things to come into your life. Letting go is an act of trust, a recognition that in releasing what weighs you down, you open the door for something better to come in. You are not defined by the past, by the people who have hurt you, or by the mistakes you've made. You are what you choose to become. But in order to become the person you want to be, you need to let go of the things that are holding you back. This isn't easy, and it doesn't happen overnight, but the act of letting go is essential for growth. We often hold on to things, relationships and beliefs, because we fear what will happen if we release them. We think that letting go means losing something important, but in reality, it's a way of making room for something even better. Think about it. How many times have you stayed in a situation or a relationship because you were afraid of what would happen if you let go? Maybe it was a friendship that had turned toxic, a job that drained you, or a habit that no longer served you. The fear of letting go often comes from a place of uncertainty. We fear that if we let go, we won't have anything left, or we won't know who we are without it. But the truth is, the things we cling to are often the very things that keep us from discovering our true potential. By letting go, we are not losing. We are freeing ourselves to step into something new. This process isn't about forgetting the past or denying the importance of what once was. It's about recognizing that what served us at one point no longer serves us now. The relationships, habits, and beliefs that once helped us navigate life might now be hindering our growth. And while it can be painful to release them, it's necessary for our evolution. Letting go is an act of self-respect, of recognizing that we are worthy of more than what's been holding us back. By making room for new, healthier things, we invite transformation into our lives. We give ourselves permission to evolve. The idea of letting go can feel daunting, but it's also liberating. It means giving yourself permission to change, to evolve, and to embrace new possibilities. Sometimes we hold on to things because they give us a sense of security or comfort, even if they are no longer good for us. But that comfort can often be a prison, trapping us in old patterns and preventing us from moving forward. The moment we decide to let go, we take the first step toward freedom. It's not about running away from the past. It's about acknowledging that the future holds something better. Letting go can be difficult, but it's also necessary for your peace. It's about releasing the emotional weight that comes with carrying things that no longer serve you. This could mean ending a toxic relationship, walking away from a job that drains you, or letting go of old beliefs that keep you stuck in self-doubt. Each time you release something that no longer aligns with your true self, you create space for clarity, peace, and joy. And the beauty is that when you make room for something new, something healthier, you begin to see life from a new perspective. You start to attract the people, opportunities, and experiences that resonate with the person you're becoming. Trusting that what's meant for you will find its way to you is one of the most empowering aspects of letting go. It's about having faith in the process of life and knowing that the universe, or whatever higher power you believe in, has a way of guiding you toward what's best for you. When you let go of what's not serving you, you're opening yourself up to receive what's truly aligned with your desires, your values, and your purpose. It may not always look like what you expected, but it will be what you need. Trust the timing of your life and trust that when you let go, you are making room for something better. You don't have to carry everything forever. There's no rule that says you must hold on to something that's hurting you or no longer serving you. Life is about ebb and flow, and sometimes that means releasing things that were once a part of your journey. Letting go is not an admission of failure. It's a recognition that you've learned what you needed to learn, and it's time to move forward. The past doesn't define you, but how you choose to move forward does. And by choosing to let go, you are taking control of your future. You are making a conscious decision to step into a new chapter of your life. In the process of letting go, be kind to yourself. It's natural to feel a sense of loss, even when you know letting go is the right decision. You may feel sadness, guilt, or uncertainty, but allow yourself to feel those emotions without judgment. They are part of the process. Healing takes time, and releasing the things that no longer serve you is a journey, not a one-time event. Be gentle with yourself as you navigate this transition. Trust that with each step, you are creating space for the new. And remember, the pain you feel now is temporary, but the freedom that comes with letting go will last far longer. As you let go of what no longer serves you, you will also find that your life becomes lighter, freer, and more open to possibility. You begin to see yourself and the world around you from a new perspective. The clutter in your life, whether physical, emotional, or mental, begins to fade away, and in its place comes a sense of clarity and peace. You'll be amazed at what you can accomplish when you stop holding on to things that weigh you down. The future becomes brighter, not because everything is perfect, but because you have made the conscious decision to create space for something better. So, start today. What can you let go of? What is no longer serving you? Is it a relationship, a belief, a habit, or a fear? Whatever it is, give yourself permission to release it. Trust that as you let go, you are making room for something more aligned with your growth and your future. Letting go is an act of love, not just for yourself, but for your future. You are not abandoning the past, you are freeing yourself to step into your full potential. And remember, what's meant for you will always find its way to you, if you trust the process and make space for it. Let go and watch how your life transforms in ways you never imagined. You've just taken a powerful step toward freeing yourself and embracing a new chapter. Remember, letting go isn't about weakness. It's about strength and the courage to create space for what truly matters. Trust yourself, trust the process, and know that the best is yet to come. If you found value in today's message, don't forget to check out one of the suggested videos on the screen. Thank you for being a part of Stoic Journal.